other day I was walking along the Royal Mile and I spotted the most exquisite of new attractions. The completion of the ballroom, the woodland walk and tennis courts heralds in a new era of entertainment which promises to be quite the affair. Now you can dance with your loved ones long into the night. Oh yeah, you guys, welcome back to the Royal Mile, and just in case you did miss the memo, we're in a brand new park. We are in 1930 and we're building a starter park for us to develop throughout the years into a modern day theme park. So this is what we did in the last episode. This is the entrance area that you're currently looking at right now, and in this episode we need to focus on this area at the back because we have a ballroom to put in here, we've got an engine shed to put in, we need to do all of this bridge stuff going on. We've got some tennis courts that we need to do, we need to bring this railway station to life in some capacity, we need a playground, and we need to put these rides into some kind of design. And then of course we need to do something down here as well, so there's quite a lot that I need to do. So without further ado, this is not a montage. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like a lot's changed, does it? But it was a day's worth of work, and I was seriously procrastinating during that ballroom. I really don't want to do it. But what I decided to do was all of the stuff around it, so I kind of knew how the ballroom was going to fit into it, and I knew what design to go for with it. I've got a better idea, so I thought, let's break, let's talk through the stuff that we've got now, and then let's actually do the ballroom in the next section, because otherwise the change is going to be too big. So we're going to start over here. These are the Art Deco shops. As we said in the last episode, there was a 1930s Art Deco movement, and these would have been put in around about that time, just as a bit of an art piece, a statement piece. They're not much to look at, they won't be much to look at, but this is what they are. And I actually quite dig how simple and effective they are. So down here, the bridge is now taking shape. I've had to improvise slightly with some of the placements of the girders. We've only got one size of girder, that's what I'm working with, so squint for the rest. You know, there's some unsightly bits, but hey, it's all fine. The train shed, loving the train shed. It's going to need some kind of detailing and whatever inside, but all I've done here is I've added an extra railway line in here so it can service the two wagons at the same time, or two engines at the same time. The shed doesn't need to be any bigger than this. You don't have to house all three, by the way. So yeah, this is cool. I just need to kit it out and do what it needs along here. We've got a new path. Yes, we do. I thought we needed to continue the path down this way. It just felt like this was too much of a too big space, so yes, that's what I've done. And of course we've got a balcony here. I have started the process of kitting this out for the ballroom, so this is going to be like a terrace area, and that's why this extra path ended up coming in here. We've got ourselves some tennis courts. Hello, tennis courts. So yeah, tennis courts were a thing in the 1930s, and they were quite sophisticated actually. Like, they did have nylon nets and all sorts, so that's what I've got. And these are the right size. They are actual 2-scale Planko size. They don't look right, do they? But I promise it is. And don't die fencing. Yes, don't die fencing did exist in the 1930s, as we found out in the previous episode, but I just swapped them out for the iron instead. I've come along and I've put all of the fencing and stuff in along here, so this is now just ready for terrain and stuff. Remember, this is the wooded part, so this is going to have all sorts of stuff going on in terms of foliage and overgrowth and all of that sort of stuff. I've just put some jetties in here because it felt like this needed some kind of usage down in this area, and then we've got the the seating covers, the Victorian seating covers all along here. The station then, this is pretty much all I want to do with it, really. I do need to change some of the textures. I need to add some fine details in, continue the brick and whatever. But ultimately, this is it. This is pretty much all it needs to be. It's a woodland station, so I might put a cover. Don't know yet. But what I have done here is I've put the pebbles down as path cover, because this has to feel like it's in the in the woods, right? And that's what I'm trying to do here. It would feel like they'd throw gravel down. This is the closest we're going to get to a gravel path. And the reason I've done that is because up here I wanted to have natural terrain underneath this ride, but you can't have the queue line natural. You have to have one of the in-game queues. So I thought, well, I'm just going to cover it over with some gravel. So that's what I've done. Now all I need to do is to change all of the train textures and stuff all along here and be done with it. Then we're going to have a shop in this area. So this is the kind of design that I want. Some kind of like hut in the forest, if you like, just there. Needs detailing, needs a bit of TLC, but it's all good to go. The playground you've seen me do a million times before. I'm going to get rid of the concrete base and stuff so it blends into the surroundings, but this was like the area that I was working with. Yes, they do exist. I have checked this out. These would be wood, and I'm all right with this as it is. I'm just going to keep it as it is. I'm not going to bother making an effort for things that are going to be deleted in the future, remember. So it is what it is. Toilets were already here. I put the Lupo plane in this area, copied across the signal box in here, and then the signal is there. Don't know if this works. I don't know if this works, because you're supposed to be able to have clear sight of the signal. I need to see how that plays out. The bridge is done then. It's almost like a carbon copy of the other one, the other bridge across the way, but it's slightly narrower, so it needed a little bit of rework and a little TLC. And then the last bit over here is just the bridge that I've added in. So I've added in the concrete pillars. There's three. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. They'd be filled in with pebbles, and then they just put the wood and stuff on top, and then just the bracing and whatever. So yeah. Absolutely digging it. So this is what we've got at the top here. This is the area I now need to work on. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. Here's a ballroom. Well, some pavilions are born to be grand, and some are born to be opulent. Some are born to exist for centuries, and some are barely born. And I think this is probably one of those times. I mean, look at the state of this. It's great because it fits the 1930s thing. It's exactly what I wanted. It's like perfect for how I designed it. But in terms of pavilions and ballrooms of the 1930s, this is not a spectacular building at all. And this is exactly as I wanted it. The phrase of the series so far, it doesn't need to be any more than this. Of course, it needs a roof and it needs touching up and stuff. But hey, I'm digging how this is, right? It's perfectly crap and I'm loving it. So let's go inside and see the inside of the ballroom. It's a ballroom. This is exactly as a ballroom would be. I mean, even down to the Chacho's poor attempt at wallpaper. Guys. I mean, it's so crap, I love it. It's full circle crap, it really is. So, yeah, I mean, I am digging it. You saw how I put this together. It's all done in panels, and then you copy across the panels and stuff. But, I mean, yes. Yes, just yes. I want to show you the bar because this is the bar area, and this came together quite nicely actually. Again, it doesn't need to be any more than this. You wouldn't have sophisticated stuff. You wouldn't have tea bars and pumps and all of that sort of stuff. It would just be glasses and bottles and barrels and stuff. Yes, I don't know whether I need to put a cash register in here though, because we don't have one at the moment. So I have one that I've used elsewhere, so I'll probably copy that across actually when I'm doing it. But this idea of having the bar set aside, it doesn't need a roof, it doesn't need any more decoration than this, it's just there. You could move it if you wanted to, but you probably wouldn't. And then of course you've got the marble and stuff on the floor here just to break up the floor space. And then over here, this isn't like a reserved seating area or anything like that. I mean, it probably would have, and it could have one of those, but that's not its design. The design is that this middle bit here is where the ballroom and the dancing and stuff would take place, so you'd want to separate your seating from it, right? So you have a nice big space. Now, let's talk about the awkwardness of the placing of this stage, because there are ballrooms out there that exist like this, and like stage design it did exist in the 1930s, but not in this park, because I'm going for lovable jank. And of course you've got the barbershop quartet. Of course they're going to make an appearance because, you know, they need to. They're classic vintage. And then inside here, what I've started to do is the dressing rooms. I didn't want this to be opulent. There would be barbershop quartets. They wouldn't have like famous stars and stuff coming in here, performers and whatever coming in here. I'm happy with that. So moving on elsewhere, lots of work has been done elsewhere. So we'll start up here with the shops. This is probably the most recent thing you've seen. So inside here we've got our sweet shop. There's lots of work that I need to do in here. I have just downloaded sweet jars and stuff to put on all of these shelves. I haven't had the chance to load them into the game yet, so that's my next task. But ultimately I'm trying to make this look as much like an oldie-timey sweet shop as I possibly can, but we're very limited with the stuff that we've got in game, so my abilities to be able to do that are going to be quite limited. However, we come into the soda shop. This has really come to life. Yes, look at that bar. Love it. And again, these are like Google images and stuff of old soda places and whatever, like just come to life when you do all of this. And I've sort of like checked out some of the colours and whatever, and this is the sort of stuff that you would find in a soda bar. Now, of course, everything back in the day would be Coca-Cola, and Gulpy is around, so Gulpy is a thing. Haven't put the benches underneath these booths yet, that's why I guess they're still walking through, but these are going to be benches, and of course they're going to be the booths that are copied across and stuff. And then we come into the gift shop. I love this gift shop too. Like, this is another one that has just come to life. Let me just scoot down. Come on. Come on. There we go. That'll do. So I'm stuck to something and I don't know what I'm stuck to, and it's fine. I'm just going to run with it. So this is the gift shop. Again, we are so tied to the stuff that we've got available on the Theme Maker's Toolkit. Everything is modern design. Of course it is. So I've just had to throw around some things that I think would have been around in the 1930s, or are plausibly around in the 1930s. Maybe not in the current design, but you would have footballs and you would have trinkets and teddy bears and jigsaw puzzles and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I make no apologies for spamming and copying the stuff around. Of course, the shelves the other side are exactly the same, but no, that's fine. It's all good. So these all just need roofs and stuff, and we're good to go. Bit of landscaping going on in here, just to get a feel for the outside of the ballroom area and how that's going to come together. Bit of landscaping down here as well. So I've decided that I want to put this scrubbery all along this way as well, just to bring it out here, and then I may just just open up this into grassland because, of course, we're going into our forest side over here. So what I've started to do is continue the quay wall down this way, and then I need to just put the seats and stuff in here. Now, I didn't want this to be a big open path area. I wanted there to be some kind of flower bed or whatever in this spot here, just to break it up a little bit, just give it a bit of variation and stuff. So that's what I'm going for here. And then up this side, you saw we put all of this in. It's difficult because it's been 4 days since I recorded the last update, so I can't remember what was in and what wasn't, right? But I've just put a load of stuff all along here. And then, of course, I've put in a privacy brick wall for the toilets here. Now, I think there probably should be one on the other toilets, but hey, it's fine. This looks out to the lake, so this one probably needs it more than anything else. Station's had a little bit of work done to it, and I've started to put this don't die fencing up here, and that's because we're running 2 paths parallel to each other, right? You don't want people trying to climb this fence and then this fence to get onto the station itself, so that's why I'm putting this line of don't die fencing. It's not to secure the area, it's just to stop people from trying to get onto this side of the station. So this fence will just need to come through this way. It's unlike a ride area where it needs to be secured and closed, right? And then the ice cream parlour, so it's now got a name. Spike is going to be so mad that I'm not using his font properly because he designed 2 letters to be like the shadow of each other, and at the moment I'm digging the orange one. I will, Spike, if you're watching, I promise I will use your font appropriately in the future, but for now I'm just loving I'm loving the 1 letter. And then inside here it's just a simple ice cream parlour. I haven't really got much room to do much else in here other than just put down some benches and a bit of clutter and stuff, and a roof or a ceiling and whatever. And then just be done with it. And so then lots of other like terrain work and stuff going on here. Lots of fencing going in. The telegraph poles are now staggered down. Lots of like copying around of the semaphore signals and the signal boxes and all of that sort of stuff. I'd check this out, by the way. Yes, this would be okay because in the 1930s, the lever pulleys inside the signal box would actually move, so you'd be able to see what the status of this signal is by the lever, and then this one up here would then also be able to confirm it. So if they ever wanted to get a visual check on this, he could, or they could, phone this signal box. The signal box could then relay what the status of that semaphore is. So this is okay. Lots of research was needed to do that one. There's some awesome train nerds out there, I tell you. And so this is how we're looking. I mean, the ballroom took so long to do, even though it's like a bit jank. But hey, it's all good. Oh, I didn't show you this, by the way. So Art Deco coming in, and I wanted this to be like glass fronted so you could see out to the lake. So it's just a big window, and these are just the panes and stuff. This comes from the Patty Pavilion in Swansea. So love it. It's just got this glass wall, and I thought, yes, that's perfect for what I needed. And then I'm just going to bring the roof and stuff down here. So I think it's going to look better when it's got a roof on. So without further ado, I am just going to go and do that. See you in a minute. Well, you guys, this turned out all right, didn't it? I'm really chuffed with how this is. This is exactly as I wanted it to be. And of course, Done For Now stamp needs to come out. I'm running out of time for this week, so I've not done the trees and stuff around the back. It's tomorrow me's problem. But actually, we're only an episode away from starting to develop the park into a theme park anyway, so maybe the gaps might actually help us out. But this is the fly-through of the area as it stands so far, guys, or the janky fly-through at least. I am so chuffed with how this is. Like, yes. And I've got a new favourite view. I think it's somewhere here, and this is probably going to be the thumbnail. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just because it feels so deep. It feels like you are in the middle of the forest, even though you're not. And I think one of my favourite things is the fact that you've got to climb through the trees to find that ride. I mean, the AI knows it's there because it's Planet Coaster, right? But, oops, I'm so loving it, right? And this overgrowth that I've included on here, it just makes this feel alive. It just makes it feel like it's just in the middle of the forest, and there it is, and there it's been for quite some time. Yes, and the gravel, the way that the gravel interacts with the terrain and stuff, and the fact you've got the ice cream bar that's now just sitting there and it's off the beaten track. It's everything I wanted it to be, like this station. And of course you can peer through the trees and you can see a bloody great big galleon in the water, because it felt like this whole area needed to have some kind of a focal point. Over that side you've got the boats, you've got the restaurant that's sitting there. This needed a focal point. And also I wanted to make a use for the jetties, so you can go and get a boat and you can like row around the the main galleon. We don't care about safety here. There wouldn't be a ticket booth or anything like this because it would be included in the price of the ticket, right? You literally just get a boat and go. It's 1930. No one cares about health and safety. But I'm loving this whole area. You know how this has got the two pathways, and the don't die fencing between the station just works. It just feels right. It feels like it absolutely should do. The other thing that feels right, and I don't know why, because this is like so quickly thrown together, these tennis courts are amazing. Like how they now just sit in amongst all of the trees as if it's a clearing is just brilliant. I did all sorts of research and I was getting mixed results. Wimbledon have got them, and then some of the other domestic tennis courts don't. But in 1930 they probably wouldn't have had floodlighting, and these would close in the evening anyway, so it's all good. Like, yeah, whatever. And then when I was working on all of the foresty stuff, I copied across all of the scrubbery and the scragginess over here, right? So this is now consistent right across the lakefront. But what I wanted is there to be negative space in this park. So this is why you've got all of this clear grass along here, and then some not so clear grass but still grass. You need somewhere to be able to go when the sun's out, go and sunbathe and that sort of stuff. And actually the area needed to breathe. So that's what this is doing, especially as we're starting to transition into the forest bit over here. Forests are hard, by the way. Like, you have to place every single tree individually. They have to be at different rotations, different heights, different pitches, not pitches, but like different angles and all sorts. Otherwise, it's just becomes spamming trees around. And I think I'm just about nailed this. I'm not a gardening expert, right? I'm not Mike Sheets, so I'm all right with that. But if you want botanical gardens, go and see his series because he's incredible. But he's a gardener by trade, so what do you expect? But what I've done down here is just thrown a few wildflowers down, you know, just to give it a bit of colour and a bit of life. It would just literally be throw some seeds down, see what grows, and see where it grows and stuff. So yeah, we're all good. We're all good with that. Done some touching up work along this side as well, just to bring it all to life. But guys, the ballroom has a lid, and I like this now. Like, this has now actually come into its own. We've got all of the benches and stuff on the outside, and of course we're playing with Planko, right? So these probably aren't realistic for 1930, but we've got a trade-off game function with 1930s function and stuff. But hey, it's all good. And this window now completely makes sense. This window looks good, and all of the work that I did all along here that I just threw together and threw down and it didn't really make sense now actually makes sense. These windows and stuff all along here all make sense now. And this frontage, loving this frontage, like yes. And I thought it looked a bit bland when I was doing this. I was like, what does it need? What's it missing? And I was thinking like posters would go in here with the lights and stuff, you know, upcoming events and whatever. So if you do want to do any kind of poster in Blender or whatever and load it as a Theme Maker's Toolkit, then please do and let me know so I can include it. I'll include the good ones. I've got 4 spaces, so feel free to go on. And guys, this is the moment of truth where you actually get to see inside the ballroom when it is finished. Ta-da! It just works. It just works. Like, I swapped out the blue on the walls. It just didn't make sense, so I just put the vintage stuff in here. But when you walk in here, I always knew that the underside of the ceiling was going to be red, and yes, that's why there's red and blue and green, and the seats are red. It all comes together. Like, I knew this was always in the grand master plan. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then looking at the bar. There's the bar. Again, the whole idea of this episode and the theme of this episode is it doesn't need to be any more than this. But I did put the cash register in, and I just made the final touches and stuff in this area. And I really, really like how this turned out. Yes. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it's so effective. Then we've got lots of gardening and stuff that's been going on down here just to bring this area to life. It felt like it needed a bit of work and it needed some stuff to go on just to sort of like bring it together. And then scrubbery and stuff down here just to, you know, like make it a little bit untidy but not messy untidy. And it's really subtle. It doesn't need to be any more than this. It's just really subtle stuff just to bring it out to life. And then the actual engine shed and stuff sits there. The fact that they're so awkwardly placed together, I mean, this is real life. Golden Acre was exactly the same. It just works so well. And then of course these Art Deco monstrosities are all finished, so these are now pretty much as I wanted them to be. There we go. So this is the inside of the gift shop. Haven't put lights in here yet, by the way. I'm still toying with what I want to do, but this is the gift shop. It's all done. I've tidied up the outside here. Oop. And then Gulpy inside here. There we go. That bar. Yes, I love that bar. I've got no staff to use, by the way. I can't put staff in because they are all too formally dressed and modern dressed. So, yeah. And then inside the sweet shop, I put the stuff in the jars. It feels like there should be heads in them. I don't know why. They just give me like the creeps. But they're in, and it's a sweet shop. We're good to go. This is, again, it doesn't need to be any more than this. This is as good as I want it to be. There's some other stuff that I do need to touch up. Like this farmhouse at the back has been there unloved for a while, and that's because I don't know if it's going to actually live there. And then, of course, in the next episode, we need to start working on all of this. So we need to do the Lido, we need to do the rides and stuff in this area, the train station, the final cafe. These are going to be tennis courts. I've decided I'm going to copy them across, etc. There's going to be no roller coaster, remember. The railway is the star of the show for this starter park. There will be a roller coaster. That will be coming in 1933, which is the first episode of the Build It Up series. So I don't know what that's going to be yet, but 1930, we do have a couple of options that are available to us. So I can't wait. I can't wait. So this is how it's looking from the top, and I am digging how this park is turning out. I mean, it's exactly like Golden Acre. I'm not even going to lie. But I really like how this is, and I think you guys are going to enjoy playing with it when it goes onto the workshop. So thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. I really do appreciate it. Let me know whether you're enjoying the time lapses and stuff. You know, feedback is always welcome. Leave a like and a comment and subscription. You know, all the usual stuff. But guys, until we speak again, have an awesome week. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.